Okay, so for this video, we want to find the derivatives of each of the following functions and kind of compare and talk about the process for finding each one. So for the first function, h of x is the cosine of x to the fourth. You will notice that it's really easy to identify what is the inside and the outside functions for using the chain rule. The cosine function is our outside, so that's going to be the derivative of cosine. So a derivative of the outside is negative sine. Remember, it's evaluated at the inside times the derivative of the inside, which is 4x cubed. So that derivative simplifies down to a negative 4x cubed times the sine of x to the fourth. Now let's take a look at our h of x function, which is the cosine of x raised to the fourth power. Again, with trig functions, we really like to write our powers inside of the function just so that they're not mistakenly found on the variable. But it's really hard to identify what the outside and inside function is in this case. So what I find extremely helpful for myself is to rewrite this as the cosine of x in parentheses raised to the fourth power. This tells us that the outside function is the exponent of 4 and the inside function is the cosine function. So when we find our derivative of the outside is going to be 4 times the inside evaluated again to the third power times the derivative of the inside, which is the negative sine of x. So this derivative is going to be negative 4 times the sine of x times the cosine cubed of x. And you will notice that these two derivatives are very different from each other, even though they look similar in their original form for the function. Now for our last function, we just kind of threw that one in just to kind of complete the series for the introduction to the chain rule. If h of x is equal to e to the x squared, the outside function in this case is going to be the exponential function. And we know that when you have the exponential function, it's the derivative of itself. So h prime of x is going to be the derivative of the outside, which is e to the x squared again, times the derivative of the inside, which is 2x. So in this case, h prime of x is 2x times e to the x squared. So again, it doesn't really relate much to the cosine examples, but the idea is that it's sometimes tricky to figure out who the inside and the outside functions are when taking derivatives. And it's always kind of good to look at a bunch of different examples so we can easily identify what those things are moving forward.